Did you know a monkey troop can erase a baby without ever throwing a punch just by turning their bodies away? Today, you're stepping into a world where hot springs feel cozy, but social rules are colder than snow. You're going to hear the sounds of a troop, smell the damp straw, and watch how affection becomes currency and how that currency gets revoked. Now, pay attention. Grab a tissue, because the sad truth is coming. Let's start with the famous monkey called Punch. You walk into the enclosure and it hits you immediately. The sound is wrong. There is the usual chatter, the shuffling feet, the small arguments over space, but one tiny voice is out of sync. A newborn named Punch is there, reaching, clinging, searching for warmth like a living question mark. And the troop answers with the oldest response in nature: silence. No milk, no grooming. No welcome, just bodies turning away like you do not exist. Let's talk about what you're actually seeing, because your human brain wants to call this a mistake, a misunderstanding, a moment that will surely be fixed by the next cuddle. But macaque society doesn't run on feelings, it runs on rules. And right now, the rule is simple. Punch is not part of the circle. You hear his cries bounce off the walls, thin and sharp like a squeaky hinge that won't stop. The air smells like damp straw, old fruit, and warm fur with a faint bite of disinfectant underneath it all. Adults shift their weight and keep their eyes half-lidded, doing that infuriating thing animals do when they're pretending not to notice something heartbreaking. A female walks past close enough that Punch reaches out, fingers spread, desperate, automatic. She doesn't even flinch. It's like you tried to hug a stranger on the train and they stared at the ad above your head until you disappeared. Now you look for the mother, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the anchor. But what you find is worse. She's there, and she's not there. She's within reach, within smell, within the warm radius of everything Punch is built to crave. And she turns away as if he's a sound she learned to ignore. No nursing posture, no grooming strokes, no soft face, just distance measured in inches that might as well be miles. And then you see the moment that makes your throat tighten. Punch crawls toward her, pulling himself forward like a tiny climber on a cliff face. He reaches for fur, for warmth, for the one body in the entire world he is designed to trust. And instead of pulling him in, she drags him. Not gently, not like a mother relocating a baby to safety, more like you move something that's in the way. You hear his small body scrape across the floor. Straw shifts, claws tick against concrete. It's brief, but it lands like a hammer, because it tells you this isn't just neglect, this is rejection with intention. Let's check what the troop does next, because this is where it becomes unmistakable. In primates, babies usually act like social magnets. Other females come over to sniff, touch, inspect, sometimes even carry the infant for a moment. It's like the entire group is wired to acknowledge new life. But Punch doesn't get that. He gets avoidance. He gets shoulders blocking pathways. He gets the quiet choreography of exclusion. No dramatic attack, no messy violence. Just coordinated indifference, the kind of cruelty that doesn't look like cruelty until you're close enough to hear the baby's breathing. And here's the chilling part. This isn't chaos. This is order. Social order. You're watching a strict society enforce a boundary without raising its voice. Punch keeps trying anyway. He crawls, he clings, he reaches. He's working a system that usually works. And it doesn't. Let's talk about why this hit people so hard, because it's not just the cuteness, it's the contrast. You're watching a species famous for cold hierarchy and ruthless group dynamics, and then you see a tiny infant doing the one thing every primate baby is designed to do: cling, hold on, don't let go. Except the body he's supposed to cling to is emotionally unavailable. So he clings to fabric and stuffing instead, like someone trying to survive heartbreak by hugging a winter coat for 3 straight months. And the setting matters. You're not in some cinematic jungle. You're in a zoo enclosure near Tokyo, where the air is damp and every sound echoes just a little too clearly. Visitors lean in. Phones come out. A hush spreads the way it does at a funeral or a magic trick. Because Punch isn't performing, he's coping. Now here's the part your brain tries to rationalize. Zookeepers didn't give him that plush for the vibes. They were trying to replace a biological function. In many primates, clinging isn't optional. It helps infants feel secure, regulate stress, and even stay warm. When Punch was abandoned, staff tested objects and landed on a long-haired orangutan plush because it offered grip, texture, and something vaguely primate-shaped to anchor to. You know it's serious when the solution to a social crisis is basically give the baby something with fur he can hold on to. Then the internet did what it always does. It turned a living animal into a symbol. People lined up to see him. Online, he became shorthand for resilience, loneliness, and that weird modern urge to protect a stranger you've never met. And while you're watching the comments explode, Punch is still doing the same quiet thing every day. Carry, cling, pause, breathe, try again. Zookeepers have said he's been learning, slowly, how to communicate and fit in with the other macaques, and that the toy may not be forever. But for now, it's his emotional life jacket. And honestly, if your entire childhood depends on a stuffed orangutan, you don't need a villain. You need a receipt. Let's talk about the rule that hurts the most. Love is expensive. In the wild, a mother macaque is balancing calories like you balance rent, groceries, and that one subscription you forgot to cancel. If she is stressed, low-ranking, inexperienced, sick, or socially unstable, raising a baby can become a gamble she cannot afford. And in a species built on social order, sometimes the cruel decision is also the efficient one. Nature does not do apologies. It does budgets. Now, step into her body for a second. You're not just being a mom. You are a walking furnace in winter, trying to keep yourself alive while your baby siphons heat, milk, and time. Lactation is one of the most energy-demanding things a mammal can do. It's like running a 24/7 delivery service where the customer screams when the package is 12 seconds late. And unlike humans, she can't go, "Hey, I'm overwhelmed, let me book a spa day." She has to eat enough, avoid conflict, stay close to the right allies, and not get bullied off food by higher-ranking females. Because in macaque society, rank controls access. A low-ranking mother may get shoved away from prime feeding spots, forced into the cold edges of the group, and stressed so constantly that her body is basically living in emergency mode. Let's check what scientists used to assume. For a long time, people treated infant rejection like a rare glitch, something wrong with the mother. But long-term primate studies have shown it can be linked to predictable pressures: first-time mothers who don't yet have the skills, mothers in poor condition, or social instability in the group. Sometimes, if the baby is weak or ill, the brutal math becomes even sharper. Investing in a baby that won't survive can cost her the chance to reproduce again later. And yes, that sounds cold, because it is. But it's also how natural selection writes its rules, not with kindness, but with outcomes. So when you see a mother hesitate, avoid nursing, or even push a baby away, you're not necessarily witnessing evil. You're watching a survival algorithm run in real time. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. Nature isn't here to make you comfortable. It's here to keep the line going. Even when the line is drawn through your heart, let's talk about the rule that hurts the most. Love is expensive. In the wild, a mother macaque is balancing calories like you balance rent, groceries, and that one subscription you forgot to cancel. If she is stressed, low-ranking, inexperienced, sick, or socially unstable, raising a baby can become a gamble she cannot afford. And in a species built on social order, sometimes the cruel decision is also the efficient one. Nature does not do apologies. It does budgets. Now put yourself in her skin for a second. You wake up hungry, cold, and watched. Every step you take has a social price tag. You're not just finding food, you're negotiating access to food. A higher-ranking female can take your spot like it's a reserved seat, and you don't complain because complaining gets you bitten. So your calorie income is unstable, right when your body is being asked to produce warm milk on demand. And milk is not magic. Lactation is one of the most energy-expensive things a mammal does. It's like your body opens a permanent credit line, except the bank is your fat stores and the interest rate is winter. Meanwhile, your baby is basically a tiny vacuum cleaner for heat, nutrients, and attention. Cute, yes. Financially devastating, also yes. Let's talk stress, because stress isn't just a feeling here. Stress changes physiology. It can affect hormones, milk letdown, immune function, and behavior. If you're being chased, threatened, or constantly forced to the edge of the group, you may have less time to feed, less safety to rest, and fewer allies to back you up. And in Macaques, allies matter. Grooming is social insurance. If you don't have it, you're one bad day away from disaster. Now check the uncomfortable truth scientists have seen in long-term studies. Infant rejection isn't always random. It's more common in first-time mothers, mothers in poor physical condition, or during periods when the group is unstable. Sometimes the baby is weak or unwell, and the math becomes even harsher. A mother that invests everything into a doomed infant can lose her own health and reduce her chances of future offspring. So when you see a mother hesitate, push an infant away, or refuse to nurse, you're not necessarily watching a monster. You're watching a survival calculation run in real time. And the worst part is, it works often enough that evolution keeps it. Let's check the old assumptions. For years, people wanted a simple explanation. A bad mother, a broken instinct, a rare accident, something you could point at and blame. But long-term primate research kept revealing patterns that are way less comforting. Rejection can be tied to stress, social rank, first-time motherhood, and instability in the group. It is not always madness. Sometimes it is strategy wearing the mask of tragedy, which is a sentence nobody wants on a greeting card. Now imagine you're the researcher watching this happen for the first time. Your instincts scream, intervene, fix it, make it stop. Early on, a lot of human interpretation was basically moral storytelling. Good moms, bad moms, a freak event. The problem is, nature doesn't care about your story structure. It cares about probability. So scientists started doing the boring, powerful thing. They watched for years. They tracked births, survival rates, feeding access, grooming networks, and who got shoved away from the best food like it was a nightclub line. And slowly, the pattern showed itself. Infant rejection isn't just a random glitch. It clusters around predictable pressure points. Let's talk about rank, because this is where your jaw drops. In many macaque societies, a mother's position affects everything. How much she eats, how much she rests, how much harassment she absorbs, and whether anyone will back her up in a fight. If you're low-ranking, you're living life on hard mode with no tutorial. And when a baby arrives, the cost skyrockets. Then there's inexperience. First-time mothers may not handle the infant correctly, may misread cues, may panic under social pressure, or may simply not have learned the rhythm of nursing and protection yet. It's not evil. It's a lack of skill in a world that punishes mistakes instantly. And instability? That's the invisible knife. If the group is stressed, food changes, conflict rises, social alliances shift, infants become more vulnerable. A mother might not feel safe enough to commit. Or she might be too physiologically stressed to sustain nursing. Or the infant might be weak and the harsh logic kicks in, invest now and risk losing everything later. So what scientists moved away from was blame. What they moved toward was context. Because once you measure the pressures, rejection stops looking like a mystery and starts looking like the darkest form of adaptation. And yes, it's still heartbreaking. It's just heartbreak with a spreadsheet. Let's talk about their social system. Because it's basically a soap opera with fur. Japanese macaques live in troops where every friendship matters, every stare is data, and grooming is both affection and currency. You can hear the soft picking, the little lip smacks, the occasional squeal when someone pulls too hard, like a haircut that turned personal. High-ranking individuals get better food and more peace. Low-ranking ones live life like they're permanently stuck in a crowded elevator. Now imagine you're walking into that troop as a new member. You don't get a name tag. You don't get an orientation packet. You get assessed. Immediately. Who are you standing near? Who are you looking at? Who did you accidentally brush shoulders with? In macaque society, eye contact isn't just eye contact, it's a headline. Let's check what grooming really is, because it's not just flea removal. Grooming is diplomacy. It's an apology without words. It's payment. It's how you say, "I'm not a threat, I'm on your side, please don't ruin my life." You watch one macaque sit like a calm little therapist while another presents their shoulder or belly totally still, trusting. And if you think that trust is cute, remember this. The wrong alliance can get you pushed off food, chased away, or bitten. This is HR policy with teeth. Rank is the invisible force field. High-ranking macaques can stroll into a feeding spot like they own the lease. They get first access to the best food, they get more grooming, they get fewer problems. Meanwhile, a low-ranking macaque eats like you eat at a party where you don't know anyone, quick, cautious, pretending you didn't want the good stuff anyway. And the wild part? Rank isn't only about strength, it's about relationships. Who backs you up? Who tolerates you? Who owes you? Troops keep mental ledgers the way humans keep grudges. A stare today can become a shove next week. A grooming session can become protection during a fight. It's like living inside a neighborhood group chat where everyone is outside, watching. So when you see them sitting calmly, grooming in the snow, everything looks peaceful. But underneath, it's constant negotiation. A Japanese macaque troop isn't a family. It's a small country. And grooming is the currency. With interest. Now we talk about the part people don't put on postcards. Troop life isn't just grooming and hot springs. It can involve aggression, bullying, and during periods of social upheaval, infanticide, especially when new males take over or when competition spikes. It's horrifying, but it has evolutionary logic tied to reproduction and social dominance. And if that feels uncomfortable, it should. Because Japanese macaques are a perfect reminder that intelligent and social doesn't always mean gentle. Let's set the scene. You're standing near a winter feeding spot. You can smell wet earth, old leaves, and that sharp, musky animal heat that rises off a crowded troop. The calm you saw 5 minutes ago is real, but it's thin. One scream can cut through it like a zipper ripping open. A chase starts. Bodies collide. Teeth flash. And suddenly you remember, these are not cute little people. They are wild primates with politics, hormones, and zero interest in your comfort. Now, here's what humans used to think. For a long time, observers framed troop violence like a moral failure. Bad individuals, cruel personalities, random madness. But when researchers followed troops across seasons and tracked who rose, who fell, and when infants disappeared, patterns emerged. Takeovers and infanticide tend to spike during social instability, especially when a new male gains dominance. The brutal logic is this: if a male eliminates infants that aren't his, the mothers may return to fertility sooner, giving him a chance to sire his own offspring. It's not rage. It's reproductive math wearing a horror mask. And yes, this isn't unique to macaques. You see similar strategies in other mammals. Lions are the classic comparison, where new dominant males may kill cubs after a takeover. Different species, same cold equation, control the future by erasing the past. But troop violence isn't only about takeovers. Bullying happens too. Low-ranking individuals can be harassed away from food, chased, bitten, isolated. And the scariest part is how ordinary it can look. One macaque sits down. Another decides that sit was disrespectful. Now it's a fight. You can't make this up because nobody wrote it. Evolution did. So when you watch a peaceful troop soaking in steam, remember what you're really seeing. A fragile ceasefire, held together by grooming and the constant threat of teeth. So after everything you just witnessed, rejection that looks like silence, motherhood that runs on budgets, and a society where grooming is basically politics, you're left with one uncomfortable truth. Nature can be breathtaking and brutal in the same breath. Japanese macaques aren't villains. They're survivors playing by rules written by hunger, rank, and time. And if that scares you a little, it should. Wildlife isn't a Disney movie. It's a negotiation with teeth. Thank you guys for watching. And if you see a monkey spa day online, remember, the steam is real, but so is the chaos.